How did we get here? Ah, yes, fencing books. Over the last decades, we have discovered and transcribed quite a few of them, with 133, or also called Fecht 1, being in chronological order the first of them. But have you ever wondered what we know about fencing before that? So let's rewind and go back in time to a land before the sources. So let's take a look at a much older text from the High Middle Ages, the Erec saga from a Middle High German language perspective. In this series, we will deep dive into the story and see what we can find out about fencing that might be valuable for practitioners of historical European martial art. Let's talk about Erec in a HEMA context. So first off, who is Erec? The Erec saga is part of the Arthurian epic, you know, the one with Excalibur and Merlin and all that. There are a lot of stories concerning the king himself, but even more stories surrounding him. As the OG creator of these stories, Chrétien de Twer is mentioned, who is supposed to have lived between 1140 and 1190. He took Celtic folk stories and connected them with Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of Britain from the 1100s, and spiced things up a little to create entertaining but also educational stories on how to be a knight and such. And one of these stories is the story of Erec and Enid. Chrétien was not the only one to pick up these stories. As we also have it today, it was common practice in these times to say, "Hey, that's a great story, I will retell this and add my own perspective and ideas." One of these guys was Hartmann von Auer, here a late depiction from the Codex Manesse, 100 years after he had lived. Hartmann writes about himself, "Ein Ritter so gelehret war's, dass an dem Buchen las, was daran geschrieben fand, der was Hartmann genannt, Dienstmann was zu Owe." He describes himself in the source as a knight, that's why he has all the knowledge, who was educated enough to have read everything he could find. Which Au he came from is unclear, however it should be in the very southwest corner of Germany. Therefore, the language he wrote in is a variant of what is called Middle High German. Middle referring to the time period, high referring to the geographical area, meaning a higher altitude in comparison to Lower German being spoken at sea level. It is also unclear if he took part in the Crusades, but most probable, most likely the one with Richard the Lion-Hearted against Saladin in 1197. So, as a narrator of the Erec saga, this time we have a knight writing about fighting and fencing. Let's see what he has to say. Our epic tale starts with a stroll through the meadows. Arthur is stag hunting with his knights, because that is what kings do in their free time. Yes, like in Game of Thrones. Meanwhile, Erec is on its way with the queen and her maiden. Nu ritt sie unlange frisch nebeneinander beide, i dass sie über die Heide ferren alle gar zu Riete sahe. Einen Ritter sei betritten vor ein Getwerc, da mitten eine Jungfruwen gemeid, schöne und wohlgekleid. So after going for a uncertain time, they see in the distance a knight, a well-dressed maiden, and a Getwerc. Shoo, go away. No, rather, this one. Going after the word Twer or Twer, it literally means crosswise and also the opposite of lengthwise. So a Getwerc person is an expression for a person cut in half, thus a very short one. But wait, we also have a Twer in our HEMA hobby. Yes, the Twerslag or Twerhau. This is now exactly from where the name comes, a cut that follows a crosswise line and not a lengthwise one. So the stage is set for our adventure. Next time we will talk about how Erec is described as naked as the women and what consequences this has for our tale. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode.